Gentlemen and ladies, welcome to another episode of the Fruitfully Honest podcast. I am your host, Robert Jones, and my co-host,
Jack Caroselli, a.k.a. Hot Pocket Jr.
And
Yeah, that was improvised.
we're
For that.
the Fruitfully Honest podcast.
The only podcast on the internet that's unfiltered that matters.
And if you're not down with that,
We got 2 words for you.
and we'll let you figure that out.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're talking about music, film, and the beauty of the combination. So music videos. But before we get to actual music videos, we're going to talk about the 2 components of the 2. So the first one's music. So to me, music is the one that draws out the emotion, right? So it does the best of drawing out the emotion and feelings using symbolism and everything like that. You rarely actually explicitly, and I don't mean like dirty, explicitly as in directly talk about what it is. Some artists do that directly speaking about what it's supposed to be, but a lot of the times it's using the
Imagery.
right, the methods of writing and everything. So talk a little bit about your favorite genres of music. So we can talk about that.
Well, Jack, my favorite genres of music are probably... Sorry about that. I have a cough, people.
Oh,
you
you're
might
fine.
hear that. My favorite genres are probably hip-hop, R&B, a little bit of pop music, more specifically 80s pop music, a little
Okay.
bit of rock and roll,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
So yeah, like hip hop, that is probably the one that you speak most directly to your audience, depending on who you are. Some hip hop artists are really good at using the methods of writing to not speak directly, but a lot of rappers and hip hop artists do that. R&B is a good one because it does use a lot of imagery and everything because
Yeah.
you have to describe it to get the mood
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
For me, my favorite genres are probably there as well, except for also heavy metal. I like metal as well. Not all types. Slipknot's probably the only band that I really, really like out of that. And it sort of does the same thing. It doesn't really speak directly.
Yeah.
It's sort of just like poetry, and then you scream it. The best,
Interesting.
yeah, the best parts about music is the fact that you don't have to explicitly say what you're trying to say.
You can always decode it in a message,
Right,
and that makes it very nice.
right. And you can do anything with music.
Yeah.
So on to film. Film is different from music only in a few ways. They're obviously both different forms of art, audio and video. But film, you know, how music will draw out emotion from you. You are the one that sort of makes the emotion. It describes things, whatever, and then it draws the emotion out
Yeah,
from you.
and you know, Jack, with films, they show you the visual representation of the story.
Right.
So that's what I like about them.
Right. Film portrays these emotions. While music draws them out, film portrays them, and it's a lot more direct.
Yes.
A lot of, some short films are a little bit like music in that there's more symbolism in them. That's what films
Yeah.
are good with.
Yeah.
Because you can do motif and everything like that, red herrings. But film more often will directly portray the emotion
Yeah.
just because you have picture. So music videos, right.
Music videos, we love those.
Yes, we do. They've sort of dropped off since once upon a time.
Yeah, like around the 1980s, they were very popular.
Yeah.
A lot of the
mid-nineties.
videos in the 80s were awful, though.
Right.
Videos like "We Built This City" by Starship, that
I
kind of
don't know
stuff.
that one.
You know, we built this city.
Well, that didn't help at all.
Oh well,
Okay, so music videos, they do what music does in that they draw out emotion because they are music. But instead of portraying it through the explicit images, and by, again, explicit, I don't mean like dirty or rated R.
Yeah.
Just, it's right out there. And they, instead of portraying it through explicit images or whatever, it's specific scenes, there are a lot of symbols.
yeah,
So it's an exact combination of music and film that it draws out emotion because it portrays certain things
yeah,
that aren't right there for you. You have to be able to look into it a little bit like a short story. you'll probably have to watch a music video a couple different times to really catch it and catch the message. Because, sometimes the message of the actual song and the message of the film are way different.
Yeah.
But you put it together, and some people just sort of look at it and say, okay, that's a music video. But if you look into it deeper, it's usually a lot different than that.
So let's talk about our top fives, Jack.
Yeah, we both came up with a top 5 list. Go ahead and do yours first.
Okay.
We'll just sort of talk about them as you go.
So, I did 5 videos, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. I'll start at 5. Miss Jackson by Outkast. Great imagery, great symbolism.
Outkast is a good. I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah. Then we have Like a Prayer / Vogue by Madonna. 2 great videos. Vogue is like in black and white 50s theme. Like a Prayer, it was a controversial video, and I like those. Then for number 3, I have Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. It used a lot of freeze frame or whatever.
Oh, right.
Where like it's a bunch of different pictures and they show like movements and that kind of stuff.
Stop motion?
Stop motion, yeah.
Okay.
So
I know what you mean.
it was like the first big stop motion video.
Yeah, those take a long time to make.
And it came out in 1986.
Okay.
And then I have Take On Me by Aha, which is another great video with the song. The video is like a drawing, and it shows movement in like the drawings, and that's very nice to look at.
Right, visually.
Visually. Then we have number 1, the greatest video of all time, Thriller by Michael Jackson. Yes.
Yeah. That was my
So I just want to say this about Michael Jackson. His videos are the greatest. He was the first singer to spend big budgets on these videos, and he'd make 10-minute masterpieces.
Right.
He's great.
No, he sort of set the tone to be able to make a short film for a music video. There are a couple artists nowadays that do that.
Yeah.
That instead of just having the camera on them with people twerking and them, it's one constant shot of them just singing the song. You actually tell a story through it, and Michael was the first and the best at doing that, I think.
Yeah. And another honorable mention song that I had would be Video Killed the Radio Star.
That's a good one.
And the reason I picked that is because Video did kill the radio star.
Yes, it did.
The video's not that good itself, but the song is solid. And the message behind the song is very true.
Yeah, and I put that on my list as well. We'll get to that. Why? Because almost out of respect, because it made its first debut on the debut of MTV. The first day MTV was ever live and ever doing that, they were the first music video to play, which is really cool when you think about the message of the song. And maybe that's the only reason, is because they thought, hey, this song sort of talks about the transition. And
nobody likes to look at the radio.
Right. No one stares at the radio.
People like to look at videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. So you mentioned that there's a bunch of different art forms in the videos you talked about. There was stop motion, art, and then there's obviously the live action. So what do you think the hardest is? Because I would totally feel like stop motion would take the longest. But I don't know if that would be the hardest. Because I feel like live action would be the hardest. If done right. If you do it right, it would be the hardest.
I honestly don't know which one would be the hardest. I just know that the Peter Gabriel video, it took them like 12 hours.
Oh, yeah.
For certain scenes. So I really respect that.
Yeah, if you're willing to put in time to create a video for one of your songs, that's really good. And money, like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
High budget, high, loop, I guess, time window to make it. So I'll talk about my top 5, and then I have an honorable mention section as well. 5 for me was Video Killed the Radio Star for that reason, because it debuted on the debut. It was the first music video on the first airing of a music video channel that's not so much that anymore, which is sad. That's sort of why I said they dropped off, because they don't really do that much anymore.
They put Teen Mom on there, which is garbage.
Yeah, why is that on the music television video or whatever, whatever that is? I don't know. For number 4, I have My Name Is by Eminem. Obviously, that was his debut song with Dr. Dre as his guy. He released that full album, Infinite, or an EP, or whatever you want to call it. But My Name Is was his debut. And to me, he was going as Slim Shady, right? And I think
Shady.
Yeah, I think that song and video captures his Slim Shady persona the best. There's a scene in there, it might be the first scene, where he's in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
So
I remember that scene.
you know, there's 3 Eminems that we know. There's Eminem, Marshall Mathers, and Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Eminem's he's the guy who made Eminem Show. He's sort of politically observant. And then you have Slim Shady, who's the degenerate.
Yeah.
Right? And then Marshall Mathers, who wrote the Marshall Mathers LP, and probably also Recovery. He probably wrote that as well. He's more direct and more of a person just like us, in quotes. 3 is Straight Outta Compton by NWA.
Great video.
Great
hip hop video.
Oh yeah. It sort of set the tone in the mid '90s, right? I think it was the mid '90s.
For rap music videos.
Yeah, and rap music as well. They really started a lot of that. And then 2 is IFHY by Tyler, the Creator. And I don't listen to him a lot, but when I do, it's Dos Equis. No.
I don't listen to him at all.
To me, he is one of my favorite new age artists because he is that unique. To me, Weird is good, and he is definitely out there. He directed this video under his name, Wolf Haley. That's what the music video director says in the credits, but he did direct it, and I highly suggest you go check it out. IFHY is a acronym for something. You could probably guess what it is. I something hate you. I'm not gonna say it, but so it's definitely a more emotional piece. But like I said before, it does a really good job of drawing emotion and portraying it, telling a story and everything. And then my number 1, just like you, is Thriller, Michael Jackson. Just because, and I debated not having it at number 1, but I had to put it there just because of the
it's
hype.
such a trailblazing video.
Yeah.
So
it invented the dance and everything.
Yeah.
And then my couple honorable mentions, there's Lose Yourself, which I didn't want to put in the top 5 because it's part of an actual movie, so I sort of didn't know if I wanted to count it.
I wouldn't have counted that.
Right. And then Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park. Johnny Cash's rendition of Hurt, which I believe is a 9 Inch Nails song originally. And then 2 other Michael Jackson songs, Smooth Criminal and Beat It. So we both have Michael Jackson songs on here. Like what he was the first one who really put that into it, money and time. But what do you think makes a really good music video? What sort of goes into it, do you think?
I think, of course, the quality of the video.
Right.
I think the quality of the song, the reputation of the artist.
Right.
I think that all goes into it.
Yeah, you have to have. I mean, the first thing you have to have is a good song, because you never make a video and then write the song for it. So you have to have the song first. Secondly, you have to have. I mean, to me, any song has to have a melody. A lot of the modern hip hop, or I wouldn't even call it. I would call it trap, but they don't really have a melody in there. It's just sort of a beat and a bass line. You need to have. To me, a good one doesn't really have explicit images. And again, I don't mean dirty, just rely more on symbolism, motif, not just being straightforward. Weird is good. That's why I like IFHY.
Yeah.
There should be no twerking, for the love of God, no twerking. Have a good knowledge of shots in video, like filmography and photography and whatever. Get good shots. Don't just do straight on the whole time. Emotion is good. A lot of people nowadays are sort of scared to
put emotion in videos.
To be emotional.
Yeah.
So to me, the best music video first segregates the 2 art forms that creates 2 separate entities. So you would make your song and you would make your film separately from the song, right? With still keeping in mind that it's for a certain song, but don't just have the song playing the whole time you're making it. So you create 2 separate entities, and then you can combine them to exemplify the message or create a new message entirely using powerful images and lyrics that both draw and portray emotion.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Who's
So-
gonna make the next best music video?
I don't know. So
Future, no.
Future, yeah.
Not gonna happen.
So, gentlemen and ladies, until next time,
We will see you. We wish you love, peace, and soul.
just chill to
To
the next episode.
episode.